Welcome YouTube! So this week I will show you how to create a brush from one of your logos or stuff. So let's open up Photoshop. I've already opened up mine. And let's start with a new file. And don't forget, if we want to make a brush, let's make it as big as possible, because resizing / shrinking it is not an issue. Upscaling it is an issue. So let's start with, for instance, let's change this to pixels. Let's do 5000 by 5000 pixels and a resolution of 300 pixels per inch. Make sure that we are RGB color 8-bit and that the background content is white. Let's do create. And then we got a square because we entered 5000 by 5000. And everything we will put in here in black will become our brush. So for instance, if I do, let's say I take a normal brush, so the shortcut B, I take a brush 100, 100, let's change it to a normal one. Let's see where they are. Let's say a hard round one. So if I drag it now, it's just a normal brush, as we all know. So let's say I want to do my branding. I can do a brush. Let's say my logo is a G. If we have this, the only thing to make this a brush is we have to go to edit, define brush preset. We give it a name, let's say G in my instance. Let's say OK. And now, as you can see, I've got a brush. I can change the color like I would any other brush. So this is the basic creating a brush. Now we can go a little bit more advanced. So let's deselect everything and fill it with white. So this is just white. And as you can see, I got a brush. I can scale it. I can resize it. I can do whatever. I can drag with it. I can do whatever I want with it. But let's go one step back. Let's say you got some text and you want to create a brush from a text. You just press the T from text. You just enter your name. Let's say Gunter France photography in my instance. I want to scale it up a bit. There we go. Let's use all the available space. There we go. Let's enter another website address. So let's rescale it. If we select all by hitting Ctrl-Command-A, then we use the Move tool, the shortcut V, and then we just center it. So we got it centered in the middle of the square. Now with the arrow keys, I can like shift it up, change the template. Let's do, for instance, something totally crazy. Let's say I want this as my brush. What I have to do now is first off make everything black and white. So what I'm gonna do is go to Image, Adjustments, and then normally desaturate, but because we are on a text layer, that's not possible. So what we're gonna do is merge everything together by hitting Ctrl, Shift, Alt, E. Then we got a stamp visible, but we keep the layers under it. And now we can do Image, Adjustments, Desaturate. So we got the black and white image. Now keep in mind, we really need black. We don't need gray, because if we use gray, it will be some sort of transparency going on in the brush. So if we want to make this darker, what we can do is go to Image, Adjustments, Levels, and we just drag it like the black point all the way to the right. So now we got a normal branding image, let's say, and I can define a brush preset. So we go back to Edit, Define Brush Preset. Let's call it GF Photography Website. You name it whatever you want. Hit OK. And as you can see now, I got a brush which is just my normal size. Now this is again pretty basic, so you can use any image you want. Also this, like I mentioned, It works with images. Let's say I want to make a brush out of, let's see what I got. Let's say with the Corona stuff, I want to make a brush out of this one. What I have to do now is just make this brush, like we know, black and white. So we're gonna go to Image, Adjustments, Desaturate. And as I mentioned before, we don't want the gray in there. So we're gonna go to Image, Adjustments, Levels. And we're gonna drag the black point all the way to the right so that we have a really dark black and white image, a high contrast image. And when we have this, we just do Edit, Define Preset, Brush Preset. Let's call it Social Distancing. And now when I go back to this, for instance, I got a brush. Now it's red. I can change it, for instance, to green. And I can make it bigger, make it smaller. So this is basic stuff, how to create a brush. I'm sure everybody will be able to do it. Now, when we go one step further, you can start customizing these brushes. So you go to Window, Brush Settings. And when this window pops up, let's put it over here, you got all these little things going on. So for instance, we want the size jitter to be different and we want it to have some space in there. Also, we want to have it scattered. This means we will spread it out all over when we're painting, it will spread out and we will like lower the count jitter and then transfer. We can say like we want to have it some parts transparent and we want to have it like something like that. Now, because we have this, it will be a brush that once we press it once, you get this kind of thing going on. And you can, like this, you can seriously make another preset from it. So you can hit this button and go like social distancing everywhere. In here, you can say like capture brush size. So it will capture the size you've made your brush. And if you want to include the color, let's say I want to have it green till eternity, you just check include color and it will include the color it has. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna do include tool settings, which means it will include these settings. I'm gonna hit OK. And let's see what we got when we make a new one now. I'm gonna close this one down. When I select my brush now, let's say we want my brush, which was the social distancing everywhere. If I paint it once and I hold it, you can see what's going on. Like if I do it in black. And that's something you can seriously play around with. So the longer I keep brushing it, the more of these things will appear. This is also the way that, for instance, snow particles are created. So you just create, let's just put a blank layer on top of it, fill it with white. You just take a normal brush. Let's say we just take a normal hard brush. Where is it? Hard round. Let's do it like, let's change black. Let's say we want to have this as a brush. So the first things we do is edit, define brush preset. We name it snow. And then we got, you can see we got this thing, but we want to have it adjusted the way we use it. So we can go into the window brush settings again. And in shape dynamics, we can say like, hey, we want to spread it out. You can also have it turn each time you click, and then scattering, we want to have it scattered all over the place. We just need one, that's about it. And transfer, that really depends on, yeah, if you use a brush, a tablet pen or not. So if, for instance, we do it now on this thingy-wingy, let's change the color to something we haven't used. Let's do blue. If I start painting, you can see that every stroke it makes creates something different. Now, it takes a lot of power from your computer brain, so when you do it, keep in mind that there will be some delay because it has to calculate how to turn it, how much to spread it, so that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, that's about it about brushes. It's 10 minutes long, so I hope you had something from it. If you got questions about it, don't forget to get in touch with me below. Subscribe, hit that little bell notification button, hit that thumbs up so we get some more feedback from you guys and girls. And that's it for this week, and then I'll gladly see you when I see you. Ciao, ciao.